let's do this before we go to questions.
Yeah.
I have some questions on myself that I'm sure other people might be interested in the answers to. So, yes, stock market has hit an all-time high.
Oh,
The
baby.
The Nasdaq.
Yeah.
Well, the Nasdaq
And S&P.
and
And
S&P.
S&P 500.
So yeah. So and the Dow Jones is not far,
Not far, no.
from its all-time high. So pretty much stock market's at all-time high right now. Pretty
Yeah.
much safe to say. So I know people is going to be saying like, well, is this the time to sell? That's
Nope.
one question. One question: is this the time to sell? And do you see a correction coming before the year is over? A strong correction coming. So I'll let both of you. I know you look at charts a lot, Troy. So
Strong correction.
what's your charts telling you?
I anticipate a correction at any point. Like I said, everything's at an all-time high. I've had a cautious mindset since talking to you every day. And so I prepared myself before I invest in anything. So I'm always looking for a correction. But I watch this Fear and Greed, like Ian said. I'm checking the VIX as well. So when he said 10, I'm like, ooh, right. And that was one of the things that I had in mind. I'm like, what would be a comfortable VIX number? I think we kind of said anything between 15 to 20 would be comfortable. If it gets to 10, be careful. But these are the indicators that we're watching. And like you said, the index can be a hedge, right? So if we see that the index is falling, you should be ready, right? You should be ready and you should know where you're going to exit. I think somebody said that there's always a point in investing that people should look out for. There's 2 points, actually. When you hear people say, when should I buy? When should I buy? When should I buy? The next thing they're going to be asking you is, when should I sell? When should I sell? When people start saying that, you know something's happening.
Ian, what's your thoughts?
You should buy and hold for 30 years. For those of you that have been watching since last year, you know the song and dance. For those of you that are new, your homework is to go watch the episodes from last year. Last year was one of the toughest times, and I know hindsight would make you think that it was easy. Was not. Hold for 30 years. Will a pullback happen? Yes. June, July, August. I told you guys last week to go do the homework about the summer, since people are back outside partying.
I told them, man. We told them.
Told them.
They ain't listen.
June, July, August will present some opportunities to buy long term. Will we have a huge crash? No. Unless the Federal Reserve stops printing money, there will be no elongated Great Depression kind of crash. Everyone always focuses on the Big Short, and Michael Burry is arguably one of the greatest investors of all time. But if you only focus on shorts in comparison to longs, you'll probably miss out on quintuple the amount of return that you could have got from that same Big Short. The big long is not as sexy, but that's where all the money is.
Pause.
Please.
Yeah.
Pause.
So,
Jesus Christ.
I'm just being, listen.
Your moment of silence. Shout out to New York.
So if you want the eggplant returns, no, but I'm just being for real. Like, everyone's like, yo, I'm going to short the market and catch the top. That sounds sexy. But he had clients. You have kids to take care of. And also, if you're not putting in 8, 12, 13 hours a day, and anybody who even trades, they'll tell you, like, if you're going against the direction of the market for 500 or 600%, why? When you can catch more on the upside. Like, my stance on crypto has not changed. The thing that I do love about the community and Wall Street Bets, the diamond hands and whole long term, like Buffett says, and it's the same concept.
Yeah.
Hodl and hold for 30. It's a different asset class.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll have a little pullback. And for those of you who get out and sell any of your long-term assets, it'll be a tremendous mistake. But do what you want to do.
Big news today, obviously. I'm sure most people saw it. If they didn't, they caught Paul Tudor Jones on CNBC, and he was he was talking about the Fed meeting on Wednesday and the importance of it. And if they ignore like everything is okay, then this is a sign that we should be investing in tech.
I've been telling y'all.
His prediction is 20% increase. That's pretty aggressive. So I'm interested to hear your take on it, and then we just open up a discussion.
Paul Tudor Jones is the Michael Jordan of futures trader, hands down. So I would never say anything to go against him. I'm arguably Kobe though. So number 8 and 24 healthy with the stem
if I
cells.
do say so myself.
No, this ain't back in the day, right? I'm just being real. Like, So, but if he's telling you tech, if he induces you to do it, like you think we're going to get back to writing shit on loose leaf? Like most people don't even know, kids don't even know how to write in cursive. I don't think. And then also from an inflation standpoint, let's say if we go to 6 or 7%, the only advantage we will have is fintech banks and then tech with a considerable edge. I know everybody's like, yo, Apple has no room to run. When you have $1 trillion, it's a lot of companies you can buy. Some of your favorites. Who's to say they won't go snatch up HBO Max, or it's a lot of money to play with. So everyone go check out the interview on CNBC. Stop worrying about inflation. Stop worrying about short-term horizon. People do that for press, to sell ads, and to get attention. Like, stop falling for the same trick month after month and all this hype. Kudos to Prudent Mom, who I saw in chat, says she's been in VTI for 10 years.
Hey,
put in chat how long, how well you're doing off that. Just invest for the long term. Like, if I am your competitor, which I'm not, I'm your brother, your advocate. But if I was your competitor, I would do everything in my power to make sure that you would stop investing.
Yeah,
that's the trick.
So when obviously when they talk like that and they hear inflation, people start thinking, well, if it does happen, well, what type of trades I should be in? And so I'm just thinking from a consumer standpoint, spots like Alibaba make sense to me. Amazon obviously has always made sense to me. Facebook, all these type of places that you can use as a barometer to say, all right, if inflation happens, all right, this is the next place. You got any other positions that you think would be a nice spot?
Here's a formula, right? Because I'll get into my full formula one day, maybe in a year, because I don't want y'all to copy my ass, because you know how I do. But whatever the inflation number, you need to look for companies that consistently give a multiple of 3, whatever that number is. So inflation, if inflation goes to 9%, the ones that I'm in are going to print higher than that anyway. So that's why I tell you, go look at the 20-year. So you want to know everything good and bad under good CEOs. I know if Microsoft loses their CEO and they get a volatile executive, as Ballmer was, I know they'll probably be flat. If they have a great CEO who's calm, collected, great upbringing, the upswing is there. Microsoft built the base for a long time. If Tim Cook leaves and let's say Elon becomes CEO, Apple will fall flat. It would do the same thing as Microsoft, but I would hedge and then understand how long I want to build my base. So when that 10-year, when it bumps up, we're good. That's why I keep saying, if Tesla gets a Tim Cook and let's say Elon goes to chairman and they find a Tim Cook, $1,500 price target for Tesla. Because then the street will get behind it, the funds will get behind it. Then now you can't put Tesla in a pension fund right now because of the volatility. So the ones that I've proactively been in, Apple, Microsoft, NVIDIA, VGT, MGC, Shopify, the top 10, they're going to take care of that. But last year was, W recovery and U recovery. And last week or last month, it was Doge. It's always some obstacle in the way. The asset that you're invested in should knock all that shit out. Good asset you want. I've never went to sleep and invested in Apple or Microsoft. I'm like, damn, I wonder if inflation's going to take my edge away. You don't have a good company if that's the case. So I know you guys want something sexy and something new. The top 10 that have been running the world, keep adding to aggressively. Or do what you want to do. But if you want results, you'll follow.
Yeah, and that's something that we all talked about it before. And Josh Brown, I remember Josh Brown was on. We gotta get him back on. But when he was on, he was saying that he thought like around the summer, stocks is just gonna start taking off. And yeah, a lot of times people was nervous when stocks fell, especially the NASDAQ. It fell pretty substantially a few months ago, all the way up to like a couple weeks ago. But
it wasn't that hard of a fall. Even like Franklin Dynatech that we talked about on episode 70. If you guys haven't seen it, like that's been booming. Like quality stocks are going to rise. Like people want, and because of crypto and because of trading, people think that a multi-billion-dollar company is supposed to print 14% a day. That's not real.
Yeah, the Dynatech. I had spoke about the Dynatech. Your episode, even before your episode, because when I was putting clients in a Dynatech fund for years, And it's one of these things like QQQ. You know, I really
It's
like.
safe.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
all the technology companies. So, you know, if we're gonna invest in the future, you have to invest in the tech. So that's not to say to put every single investment should be technology, but you know, I think that it's only common sense that, of course, all of these companies, Google, Microsoft, Apple, they're leaders of the pack, and they're gonna continue to lead. So it's not hard to figure out why it's at all-time high right now.
Throw a dart.
Not too complicated.
Yeah. And we spoke about some of these plays, even in the tech field. We said we just spoke about Salesforce, and you know, a few months ago it was at 207. Right now it's at 246. Right, we've been speaking about it for 6 months already. Same thing with Microsoft. I mean, we've been saying these plays, and it's just like, if you wanted to know in, go back and listen.
My graduates from my school being Forbes, bag drop.
Bag drop.
A mic drop, bag drop.
Bag drop.